You know what's crazy?
What's crazy?
Flipping. It's flipping crazy.
Flipping houses are flipping crazy. That's exactly right. Welcome to the next episode of Branching Out, Branch Wealth Partners. I'm Greg. This is my great friend, Leanne. And Leanne and I have known each other, 10 years maybe, I guess?
Just about that.
And she came on board the branch team maybe a year or two ago and as the director of education. And Leanne, tell us about your real estate journey, because I think it is flipping crazy.
It is kind of flipping crazy. And I will say my heart is in flipping. I love a rehab. I got started in real estate when I was on maternity leave with my second baby because I didn't have quite enough to do. So I thought, hey, I was watching a little too much HGTV is what really happened. But I went to my mom and I
think
said,
we all did.
Right? I want to flip a house. And she said, well, I know how to do it, but I don't have any money. And I said, well, I don't know how to do it, but I've got a little money. So a great partnership was born, and it's all been history since then. We work here in the Concord area, and we have specialized in houses around 1,200 square feet. What we've really found is fun is we like to take 3-bedroom houses with 1 bathroom and turn them into 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms.
Always a help.
Yep, we're pretty
second bathroom.
Yep, pretty creative in how we kind of slice and dice space so that we can get that second bathroom in there. Because, way back in the 50s and 60s, I guess everyone loved to take baths together. But anymore, I need to get some separation from my kids. How about you?
Yeah, no, my kids are grown now. So,
Aren't you lucky?
So we have permanent separation now. They're grown and gone. And so, I have my own facilities, so to speak. And
that's my goal.
Yes, it's a great life goal. Hashtag life goals. And I think that a lot of investors get started or they think they need to get started flipping houses, and it's not a bad way to start. I mean, there's a lot of risks and there's some pitfalls and all that we try to help coach our mentees on how to get through. But
absolutely,
why do you think that is? Why does everybody kind of go, hey, I'm going to invest in real estate, that must mean flipping houses? What does that mean?
I think it's probably because of HGTV, right? Because there's so much popularity around taking something old and giving it some polish and reinventing it and making it new again, breathing new life into a home.
That's the reason why our company started as New Life Developers, right?
Yep,
that's how we started
absolutely.
too, yeah. And I think I used to tell people that I like to take a piece of coal, and rub on it and squeeze on it until it comes out a diamond.
Yeah. How's that working for you?
That way, it's got a lot of diamonds laying around. Over the last 30 years, got a lot of diamonds accumulated. I think that, of course, I started and I wouldn't rehab to sell. I would rehab to rent.
Yep.
And because I didn't know I could rehab to sell, I was too stupid. And that
says the NASA rocket scientist.
Yeah, that's right. I was a little too dumb, but it's okay. It's all about knowledge and experience and all that. What about though the risk in flipping? Especially in today's market, higher interest rate, tighter purchases. What does that look like? What are our mentees running into? What are you seeing out there?
So what I'm seeing is the cost of getting into a flip is a lot higher than it used to be, right? So when I got started 10 years ago, and I'm sure when you got started 30 years ago, you could about buy a house for a nickel. I had to pay maybe $50,000 to $70,000. Now I really can't get into a rehab property for under $200,000, maybe even closer to $250,000. So that barrier to entry is definitely there, and the more money you have to put in up front, the more risky it is.
Yeah.
And then there are all of the unknowns. Working with contractors, you never know who you're going to work with, especially when you first start out. It's really helpful to have some mentors in place who can refer you to contractors that they've used because they've built up a great reputation. Yep. Not everyone is honest and upright out there, and so there's a risk in that. And then if you use all of your own money, well, there's a tremendous amount of risk. You've got all of your eggs in one basket. If you borrow money and your timeline kind of goes a little bit longer than you anticipate, well, then, there's additional cost incurred with that. So there's a lot of things that can kind of come and eat your profit margin up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, especially with the higher interest rates, the harder money and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
If you're not able to move that product off, it just really sucks into your take home pay.
Yeah.
And that is pretty tricky. I think too that there's not a lot of inventory out there. I think that
Yeah, that's true.
the selection of what we find out there to flip is less. I think that fewer people on the resale market are offloading their resale product because they don't want to take a 3 or 4% interest rate and then go sell it and then move into something and have to pay 6 or 7. Right?
Yeah,
It's a big
absolutely.
take. And but it's interesting. I think that as the what was it that one of our guest speakers at our monthly workshop said? I think it was either 2025 or 2026. There are more people 65 and older in
Yep,
the history of the world. Like more
exactly.
people now 65 and older than the entire history of the world. And so you would think with that aging population, we would see more and more product coming out, right? Or
But they're living longer and
they're
longer.
living longer and longer. The average is getting up higher,
Yep.
right? Especially with you female types. But us guys, we kind of choke out
Yeah,
pretty
you
early.
can't get rid of us.
You guys have better genes than we do.
We're just more stubborn.
I don't know what it is. But ladies tend to live longer than men. It's just statistically, that's just the way it is. We check out a little
Maybe that's
earlier.
by design.
Maybe it is, getting rid of us.
We cook the meals,
I know, right? Check my fingernails, make sure I'm not getting poisoned. But it is kind of interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens because there is supposed to be the greatest transition of wealth in the history of the world over the next few years.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see. The other thing that I've kind of noticed recently that might help the flippers is there was an article in Cason's newsletter that talked about the rise in foreclosures. And so foreclosures were up like 19 or 20%. I don't know if that was year over year, quarter over quarter, whatever it was, but whatever it was, it's up 19%. But I think, typically the flipper would like to get in there into the foreclosure. It has to be a motivated seller, right?
Absolutely.
And you have to be able to pick up the product more at wholesale than out there on the retail.
Yep.
And, we have seen a couple of people trying to retire and bring us their portfolios, and that would be a good way to kind of get in there more at the wholesale side. If you find a fellow investor who has a significant portfolio and they're aging and they just want to kind of transition out, but I think as the foreclosures start to tick up just a notch, if they do,
Yep.
if the economy rebounds and gets even stronger, because it's pretty strong now. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
But if it just all depends on the job market,
Yeah,
right?
it really does. No, and I think that, as that inventory increases, then there's an opportunity to get that wholesale deal again. And that really hasn't been available for a lot of years.
A lot of years.
I would say 4 or 5 years. It's the inventory has been really tight.
Pretty tight.
Yep.
And a lot of people out there scrambling for it. And that's why I just sit there and go, an investor should never they should never be a one-trick pony.
Nope.
Right? You should kind of know everything, at least have an introduction to a lot of different techniques and a lot of different methods, because the real estate market is so cyclical, right? It goes up, it goes down, it changes, it moves sideways. And so what product class might be doing real well right now, might trend, so I think it's kind of interesting, because right now people might want to hold their cash and watch to see if more flips are coming open, or they might want to park their cash into more long-term holds for a little bit.
Well, and I guess case in point, as inventory kind of dried up, I took that route and I went the route of private money investor.
Yep.
So I started becoming a private money lender, and that's allowed my capital to continue to make me money while I've waited for inventory to become available.
And I started building.
Yep.
So, and I've done some private money lending. I just felt like I could find lots a little bit easier than I could distressed,
Properties.
pre-built properties.
Yep.
And so we've enjoyed a lot of good success doing that. And it's become a little bit more predictable and a little bit more risky because you're starting from ground zero, graded dirt or raw land, and so instead of a finished house, but still been good for us.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of move and shake where the market is. I don't think you could just sit back and go, man, it's a bad time to invest in real estate. I hear that all the time. I'm like, well, it depends on what you're trying to do, champ.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd be investing in office buildings right now.
Well, I don't know. Warren Buffett always says, buy when everybody's selling.
That's true.
So
they're sure selling them right now.
Yeah, they would love to get rid of them. I was looking at an article earlier today that that talked about some of that kind of stuff. And of course, office is hard. Multifamily is kind of right behind them because they all financed it in the 3s and 4s, and now all those 5 to 7 year loans are coming up for doing.
Yeah.
And so they'll have to restructure. So there's a lot of debt out there that needs to be renewed that's not getting renewed. And so when that happens, that'll be fun. Good stuff. And
get your dollars ready.
Get my dog, have that gunpowder dry, ready to go.
That's right.
And so yeah, but I think I like doing a flip. What was the most interesting flip that you ever did? Do you have anything that like sticks out? Like, oh, that was interesting.
So the ones
or
that
what we
were,
call that's impressive.
Right.
Could be a good impression or a bad impression.
The ones that were most interesting are the ones that smelled the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why, but I ended up picking up pet stained house after pet stained house where you would walk through the door and it was like you hit a wall of urine and all of mold. Can we say urine? It's YouTube. We can say anything we want.
Anything you want. People hang off on rocks and do stupid stuff.
Those are the houses, like it's funny. Those are the ones that smell like money. And that's what I learned. It's funny growing up, there was a paper pulp plant that we would drive by. Oh man, they smell so bad.
Brunswick, Georgia.
Yep.
Oh boy.
And people who worked there, I would say, it's the smell of money. And I never understood it until I started buying urine-soaked houses. And then I'd walk in and I would take a big whiff and go, all right, we can do something with this, right?
Yeah.
Once you figure out a plan how to get that urine smell out of it, then you can take that lump of coal and, with a little vinegar and baking soda.
Now, you just have to be careful with that because you don't want to get so used to it that you walk home and you go, ooh, smells like money. I know this is my house. See, we don't like to smell like that. We like to keep it more clean.
We like to smell the Clorox in my house.
Smell a little cleaner. So, yeah, I agree. Like you learn to figure out real quickly, like what are the easy things to do? What are the hard things? What's going to cost you a lot? What's the most beneficial improvements? And so as you work through a few deals, you kind of learn like, hey man, this is something I can do over and over.
Yep. Well, it's kind of like dating, right? You have a type. Right, I found my type. My type was a 3-bedroom house, and
do you like to date a 3-bedroom?
I like to date a 3-bedroom.
There you go.
Tall, dark, and handsome. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom.
Yeah, 2-story. There you go.
But like I said earlier, I like to get creative and figure out, use the square footage that's available to put that second bathroom in, because that really drove the value of the property up. So some of the most fun flips were where I took a hallway and I turned a hallway into a bathroom, or I took a laundry room and I cut it in half and I made an ensuite, or something kind of creative, taking some storage area, moving walls a little bit, just to create more value and, a house that fits the needs of today's buyers.
Right. Yeah, as opposed to buyers in 1962 or whatever.
Exactly.
Every time we would
I know what you're going to say.
I know, right? In the HGTV shows, the designers come in, they go, "Oh, we need to take down this wall and open this space, and it's all artistic and flowing, and everybody's all sweet and happy, and it's all flowers and roses, rainbows." And every time we would do that, there would be a chimney in there.
Yep, I've had a few of those.
So where you sit there and go, "Why is this wall here? We need to open up this wall, make it more livable space." And as soon as you take out the sheetrock, there's this huge brick chimney sitting there, a fireplace. And what people don't understand is you have to take those out kind of by hand.
Yeah,
and
brick by brick.
Brick by brick. And it's a little tough. Somebody along the way.
And it goes through the roof sometimes.
Sometimes. And if it's not through the roof, those are the sneaky ones because it's up in the attic and somebody roofed over it, kind of thing, like took it down below the roof line. Then you can't even see it from the outside. So how would you know it's in that wall? Oh my goodness, we uncovered a lot of chimneys.
Yeah, I found a few myself.
That's
and
awesome.
the furnaces that were in the basements. You don't find a lot of basement houses here, but every now and then you buy them and there's a fireplace in the basement that, hey, it was great. It heated the whole house. We don't need that anymore. We got central heat and air.
Got central heat. That's
right.
What you came up to say. You almost said it.
Central heat.
Got that there central heat. Heat and air. And so there are some nuances there that that in addition to lead-based paint and asbestos and all those kind of weird things, buried storage tanks for oil and things like that. But some of those are risky kind of endeavors. But man, isn't it fun? Isn't it nice to be able to kind of take the before pictures and then come back and look at them when you take the after pictures and say, wow, does this look beautiful or what?
Absolutely. It's so gratifying. And it's really neat when you are a flipper and you're kind of a visionary, right? So you can come in and you can envision what this property is going to look like when it's all said and done. And I remember bringing, friends over or subcontractors, and they didn't quite have the vision, and they would just shake their head and say, I just don't see what you see. And I said, just wait for it. Trust
Yeah.
me, right? Trust me on this.
Trust me. Just take down the wall, remove the
Mhm.
chimney, and then
Yep.
take down the wall. Yeah, just trust me on
Remind
this
me
one.
never to buy a house from you.
Yeah, it's probably
Hidden chimney in there.
hidden chimney in there. No, but I do love that. It's it's almost poetry, when it all
It
kind of
is.
comes together
Yep.
like a maestro
It is.
conducting an orchestra. And I do love the new construction because it's a little bit like that. Like you take raw land and voila, here comes a house.
Mhm.
But there is something by taking something old and making it new
Yeah,
again
yeah.
that's pretty fun.
It
And you
is.
feel like that you've truly like improved the community where you sat there and said, hey, look, when I drove down the street earlier, it didn't look so great.
Yeah.
But now when I drive down,
I'm proud of it.
I'm
and
proud
and
of
the
it.
neighborhood is proud of it. They're excited about
Mhm.
who their new neighbors are going to be.
Yeah. And a lot of times other investors will come now that you've started a trend, and they'll come and start doing other houses in the
Yep,
neighborhood.
absolutely.
And that's kind of fun too. So
Yeah.
so a lot of what else would you like to share as far as flipping goes?
Flippin' goes. Use your flippin' spreadsheet.
Oh yes.
Man, you need to understand your cost. So your
Mhm.
rehab repair estimator, man, use that tool.
I think we have one out there, like a free one or something, don't we?
I think that we do,
Oh,
Greg.
look at that. What a product
Oh, what a
placement idea.
segue. And it's only $7.
Oh, look,
So
it's
it's
almost free.
Yeah, it's almost free. It might as well be free at $7.
Yeah. I mean, it's the cost of a latte kind of thing.
That repair estimator has saved my butt more times
Mhm.
than I can tell you, because as you're going through a house, you're counting the number of windows, and you're counting doors, and you're looking at the flooring, and you're looking at all these individual components. And on this spreadsheet, you're marking down, what you're going to do and what your plan is for the repair, and it'll auto sum it down at the bottom, and you go, "There's no way." Right? There's no way it's going to be this
No
much.
way.
No way it's going to be this much.
Impossible it could be that much.
It is always that much.
It's at least that much.
Absolutely. Every single time.
It's at least that much.
Sometimes there's some bonus expenditures in there.
Surprise,
When you find that chimney.
surprise.
Hmm.
Yeah, like Gomer Pyle used to say.
I know.
We used to sit around the conference room table and compare deals and everything, and then we'd all say, "No, there's impossible." And then we'd look at each individual line item and go, "Well, which one would you take out?"
Yeah.
Well, no, is that line item good? Yep, that line item good. And look, then the total must be the total.
Yep.
And I think it's, it just kind of helps if they use that and just kind of stick to your guns. I mean, you only make money in the buy.
That's right.
So there's only three numbers in the flip world that you could live with, right? What you buy it for, what you fix it up for, what you sell it for. That's
right.
it.
And you make your money on the buy.
On the buy, because what you sell it for is kind of market driven.
Yep.
What you tend to fix it up, you have some control, but then there's uncontrollables in there. So the only thing where you really can control is what you actually spent on the purchase.
Yep.
And so, so I tell my mentees all the time, listen, if it doesn't math, then you need to bail out.
Yep.
And just punch right out of the deal, because there's other deals. You'll find another one. Better to walk away from the deal than to lose money in the deal.
Absolutely.
And so, so make sure the maths,
Yep.
so to speak.
Hey, I like to math with you.
Yeah, and Leanne is a Excel goddess. So
I don't know that I go that far, but
Well, it's
I sure do love a spreadsheet.
Anyway, but yeah, definitely check out that. And
Hmm.
and anything else you'd like to add? I mean, besides our little book here, that's a nice little product placement idea. I thought that was kind of cool.
Guys, get this book.
Yeah.
It's the funniest book you'll find on real estate investing.
It's one of Leanne's books, her favorites, because she's read it.
I've read it 5 times now.
She actually was responsible for helping us bring that to market. So good job.
Absolutely.
Good
Thank
job,
you.
Leanne.
What I love about this book, and it's funny, I was just talking to a mentee last night, and I said, "Have you read Greg's book yet?" So you're never going to do real estate perfectly.
Mhm.
You are always going to make mistakes. There are always going to be lessons that you have to learn the hard way. I mean, that's just life. In Greg's book, he teaches you all of the lessons that he learned the hard way. And I said, read his book, because then you'll know what not to do.
Yeah, because not all of them. I hid some of my mistakes, but they're in there.
You got some good nuggets in there.
There's some nuggets
but
in
there
there.
definitely are a lot of stories, and that's why I think leveraging people, right? People are such a big part of the real estate business. Not only mentor-mentee relationships, but the relationships that you build with your contractors and your subcontractors. But then also, if you take it a step further, if you buy a property from a homeowner who is distressed, the relief that you bring to them by taking that burden off of their plate, if they have missed mortgage payments and they're going into foreclosure, the peace of mind that you've given them, and you probably have even sent them away with some money in their HIP National Bank,
right?
which is life changing for them. And
Mhm.
then you get to take that old property, you get to renovate it and make it new and make it wonderful and beautiful. And then the new family that moves in, they are envisioning their children and their
Right,
future and
raising a
their
family and doing
grandkids.
whatever.
Like
Yeah.
that's to me what kind of plucks at the heartstrings of real estate investing is
Mhm.
not only do I get to help people on one side,
Mhm.
I get to make some great friends because who doesn't like to talk shop with the contractors?
Mhm.
And then when I have a final product, I get to put a family in there that's going to love that product and grow and flourish and bring more money into our
Mhm.
community.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So get flipping crazy.
Yes.
Go do it.
It's flipping fun.
It's flipping fun.